comes to something, doesn't it, when even the boss of a major corporation thinks that you and I, that's right, the great British public over here, are willing to pay for something that allegedly even he thinks we're daft to do. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. Nice to see you. I hope you're keeping well. We like to share these stories because I think it's important to let you know exactly how big corporate companies truly think of us. I mean, it's incredible when you think we spend a lot of money with them. And as somebody pointed out to me the other day, which I thought was fascinating in itself, you know, now when you have to take your own meter reading for your electric or your gas, they refuse to do it because they said, well, you know, we're doing somebody out of a job. Why should I do that? And then they want a follow up, don't they, on the emails saying, how did we do? Well, you did nothing. I read it and I sent you the numbers down an email. What's to do? You see what I mean? Now, one of the biggest problems that we have over here right now in the United Kingdom is the BBC license fee, £159, I believe it is. And of course, it's now not given to the over 75s, which it was up until a couple of years ago. Recently, the Director General of the BBC, Tim Davie, was called out on what they call a hot mic. He was addressing a local radio group. And basically, he was caught out saying that, you know, yes, they have massive budgets, they've had to make some cuts, but even he couldn't believe in this day and age that people were still willing to pay the license fee. Now, this has caused absolute uproar, as you can imagine. But the bottom line is you could take that line two ways. You could say he meant it as he can't believe that people are still willing to pay it and that we should be very grateful. Or in fact, more of a, oh, you know, if they're foolish enough to pay it, we'll take the money. Now, this has not gone down particularly well, as you know, because more recently we've had a backlash against a podcast which the BBC commissioned with the ISIS, you know, lady, whatever you call her, Shamia Begum, right? And then we had the BBC reporter who was gleeful that Boris Johnson wasn't returning back to number 10 Downing Street. No impartiality there. Just an update on that, though. She's now left the corporation. They forgot to renew her contract. Good news for all. But the bottom line is this. If the BBC are so flippant with their remarks about exactly what they think people over here, particularly in the United Kingdom, having to pay for the service, a service really that they don't get a say in. I mean, if you think about it, in this day and age, programs are presented to you and then you're told to watch them, whether you like them or not. If you don't get a license over here, you could be taken to court and eventually put in prison. I know. It is ridiculous in this 21st century world, isn't it? But the BBC Director General, one or another way, can't believe that they still get so much money from the British public. But let me tell you some inside secret. The BBC do only really attack the middle class, the people that they believe can afford this. They never go to the impoverished areas, you know, the ethnic minority areas. They simply are too frightened to send people in and they know they can't get their money. Somebody very inside of the BBC told me exactly how they operate. So basically, they operate on a mask of fear. If you're willing to pay it and you feel that you may be shown up publicly or indeed get a court summons, then you'll simply pay it. If, like, say, in other areas where they have no chance of getting the money and they're not going to be publicly shamed, they keep away. That's exactly how the BBC licence fee operates. The only thing Mr. Davie's done as the Director General of the BBC is highlight how stupid many people are simply for carrying on paying it. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.